Announcements. Announcements are used to send corporate information to the employees or the external users or even anonymous users. So most companies, or practically all of them, send announcements once in a while to their employees or to the different users. We're going to see a very simple mechanism that allows us to publish announcements in any page we want. So the first thing we have to do is go to page and add a space. In this space, we can start displaying different announcements. Now we have to design the look and feel of the announcement. So there's a couple settings that we have to set up, like where do we want the title, the image, and so on. We can also create the announcements by any user with permissions. We're going to learn how to do this too. And finally, we're going to publish the announcements. As soon as we publish them, they're going to appear in whatever space we have or designed for this purpose. So here in the entry page by default, we already have a space designed for this purpose. We're going to see how to modify the space or how to add new announcements. So the first thing I have to do is configure my page, adding a space, and in this space, I'm going to add announcements. So if I enter the configuration here, I can see there's a specific space of announcements selected. It's called Announcements Neon Default. Okay, if I go to Structure, I can see that these spaces, they're created from this option here. So here I can create as many spaces as I want. All I have to do in order to create it is click on the button Create, indicate if it's active or not, give it a name, for example, course demo, indicate who has permissions. If I leave this empty, it means that everyone can create announcements. And if I leave this empty, it means that no one can publish. So here I do need to indicate group of employees, although I'm just going to select this group that contains all the employees. This means that anyone can publish an announcement. Here I'm going to restrict the space. For example, do I want to restrict it for employees and external users, or do I just want anyone to be able to access? So basically, if this option is marked, there's no restrictions because it doesn't require any credentials. Now, once I mark this, here I can indicate the external portal where this is going to be displayed. Here I can indicate some text for the header. If I want it to have images or I don't want it to have images, I'll just say with an image. I want it to be maximum this size here. How many titles do we want to display in each announcement, in the header, and in the content? Once we've done this, all we have to do is save. And now I can grab this link here and I can use it to publish announcements anywhere where I want. If I paste it here right now, it's just going to be empty. It's just going to be a white space. Maybe I could add a title here. So here we can see the result. Obviously, there's no announcements here. But if we want, we can start creating announcements. For example, I could go with this user. Since anyone has permissions, I can go with this user to this option here. If we see this little red bubble with a number 1, that means we have one announcement pending to be published. Although I'm not going to publish this one, I'm just going to create a new one. I'll give it a name. Once I give it a name, I'll click Continue. And now here I can add some content. For example, some text. I'll save and exit. And I'm also going to add an image here. So I'll click here. If I don't have any images, I can always go to my desktop, my computer, and browse an image. For example, this one here. Okay, I'm going to save. So here we can see our new announcement. Now, I have to indicate some dates in which I want it to be published. So I could say I want it to be published from tomorrow forwards, or whatever day I want, and I want it to disappear on the 31st of January. Okay, I'm going to save and exit. And here we can see now I have 2 pending announcements to be published. If I want to publish this announcement, I have to click here on the publish button. Apparently I don't have permissions to publish in this space here, but maybe I do have permissions to publish in this new space I just created. So I'll select this one, and here we do have permissions. So I'll click on publish. That means when I go to that space, this announcement will appear. Here we can see the result. Now, if I want to change this announcement, I don't want it to be displayed in this in this space, I can always change it to a different space. So I'm going to go to all my published announcements, and here I can enter and I can change it to this other space. So let's see what happens if I go to my home page. Here we can see the announcement doesn't appear. But if I go back to the announcement, and now I change it to this space, this is the space that I'm using in my entry page. So I'll select it, I'll save and exit, and now when I go to home, we can see it appears here. If I want to delete it, I can always go back to my pending announcements. I could open the announcements that were created by me. I can select it and I can click on delete. Now when I go back to the home page, I'll see that announcement has disappeared. If I want to delete one of these spaces, I can go to structure, announcements, select the space, and delete it. Anyways, once we've created these spaces and we've added them wherever we want them, in a portal, in a website, all the members of the company with permissions can come here and start adding the different announcements, and they'll be displayed in all those spaces. So one of these spaces could actually be displayed in lots of different pages or portals. Exercise 402, part 4.